Hey, Shalom, Shalom, when the stuff was but give no praise to Hashem, Yahshua, Hashem, Rakakwadash, that belongs to the apostles of GMS and honesty, brothers doing the work in truth, sincerity. It's a quick one on, the mushroom cloud, as you see here. I was on my way home, thinking of a, video topic, and the mushroom cloud came to mind. Actually, no, this came during the day, and I started putting together some information, reading into information on my way home. Right, and there's some technical terms in there, whatever, what have you. It says origin of the term. It says it's it's quite an old term. I think it says here, so what, 1782, says a contemporary acquaintant by an unknown artist of the 1782 Franco-Spanish attack on Gibraltar shows one of the attacking forces floating batteries exploding with a mushroom cloud. So I forget whether this was saying it was called that, back then, but it's basically showing you that this thing was kind of known. It was basically going into the fact that, when in times when there's been an explosion, not nuclear, right, where there's been enough energy that this mushroom cloud has been observed, which is in fact what this example was in 1782, right? Then you've also got a section here on the the physics of it, which is rather interesting. But we know mushroom clouds from basically the destruction that is going to happen from these ICBM nuclear missiles, right? So I'll read this paragraph here. It says, later in 1946, the Operation Crossroads nuclear bomb tests were described as having a, quote, cauliflower cloud, but a reporter present also spoke of the mushroom, now the common symbol of the atomic age, right? Yeah, because we, for instance, this an image like this, for instance, right? This is a known and associated with the nuclear destruction, with the nuclear weaponry, right? When you hear the word mushroom cloud, you do think of ICBMs, right? It says, but a reporter also spoke of the mushroom, now the common age symbol of the atomic age, right? Mushrooms have traditionally been associated both with life and death, food and poison, making them a more powerful symbolic connection, than the cauliflower cloud, right? Which even as I'm reading that, it is making me think about, a couple of scriptures. So I'll just load them up real quick. Right, oh god, where'd it go? What's my new tab gone? Here we go. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, right, which says, for Esau was the end of the world. So this mushroom cloud, these nukes, right, this destruction is the end of Esau's world, right? This is, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? So it's the death of one world and the beginning of another, right? Because Esau's world's got to be taken down. It's got to be taken down in style, so that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua can get his his accolades, right? So then what else was I thinking of? Also Sirach. No, in fact, let me get this instead. Daniel 7:18 says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever, right? So this kingdom, this current kingdom, Esau's kingdom, is going to be taken from underneath his feet, right? Which is fitting, right? But this is going to happen by way of these, of this destruction to come, but mainly this ICBM, right? Yahushua and the chariots and the angels, the chariots being what the so-called white man once called UFOs, now calls UAPs, right? They're coming to all bring damage, right? And that's how we're going to take the kingdom, right? Because the scripture says in Zephaniah 3 and 8, wait ye upon me, because we can't take this man down. No, that's just what it is. We can't take this man down of our own accord. A higher power, a higher being has to do that on our, on our behalf, right? Where am I? Says mushroom clouds, bam. So yeah, I was just grabbing, going to script. Oh, in fact, let me grab one more as well. Two, and I forget how it's phrased. It's in GMSFAQ somewhere. It's around 39, I believe. 33? Right, yeah. It's just GMSFAQ 33:15 says, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another, right? And this is going into the balance of the Most High, right? How, I'm bringing this out because the statement is made about the mushroom cloud, right? How on one hand is this, a mushroom can either kill you or it's good for your health, right? Just like how these nuclear missiles, they're balanced, right? On one side, they're bringing destruction, but on the other side, GMSFAQ 10, right, the Lord is going to set over the earth one that is profitable, and that's how it's going to happen, because one kingdom has to be taken down in glorious fashion for his sins have reached unto heaven, right, and referring to Babylon the Great, America, and ultimately all these Edomites, right? Esau's wickedness, it has reached unto heaven because he's not had to pay since the time of Cain, right? So I'll get in some destruction precepts, and then I'll call it a day. So Isaiah 34:4 says, and all the hosts of heaven, all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, right, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, right, and that's referring to that mushroom cloud, right. It says, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, as a falling fig from the fig tree, right, and that's talking about the way a fig falls, right, the way it falls down, right. It's the ICBMs fall in a similar fashion. Now, arcing or arching, I forget, but the arcing fashion of the way the fig falls from a tree is the same way these ICBMs fall to the earth. It says Isaiah 6:13 says, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as the fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, right? So this is more or less the same precept, right? The first one's in the time of Isaiah. The second one is the time of John the Revelator, right? It says, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, right? So it's a similar fashion in the way this nuclear missile is gonna fall, right? Is the same fashion as figs fall when the tree is shaken of a mighty wind, right? Says the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, right? So basically the same vision, more or less. Now, this is Nahum 3:3. The horseman lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses, right? And what's that sword and glittering spear? You're always going to remember that the prophets didn't have certain terminology available to them. They could only describe things with the language that they had, and one of those things was a spear, right, and the sword, right. But that can't, what you call it, a spear and a sword can't, kill the multitude of slain, that is, foreshadowed to come upon the earth, right. Right. These are what you call it. These are metaphors for these ICBMs, and in fact, to carry on. And now I'm going to read Isaiah 34:5 says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven, right? So these, what you call it, these nukes, right? They're going to be flying, man, right? It says, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my cursed judgment, right? So there's going to be a heavy judgment on these devils, on these Edomites, right? In fact, all of Isaiah 34, that's a good read, right? In terms of this destruction, right? But this is when it says a sword, the bright sword and glittering spear, right? It shall be bathed in heaven. These what do you call it? These are just metaphors for the ICBMs, right? This is Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch, right? So I remember the apostles were breaking down basically what it means for it to be hot as an oven, because these are ancient ovens that are being referred to, right? The example given was how, they'd have the dough, what you call it, put the bread in the oven, and it was, one side, couple of seconds, and it's done. That's how hot it was. This is basically saying that this is how how hot this destruction is going to be, right? You're also reading, what you call it, Second Peter's, right? How the elements are going to melt with fervent heat, and what is strong enough to melt elements, right? These ICBM nukes, right? This is Job 20:24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Once again, referring to these ICBMs, right? It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his goal, right? Terrors are upon him, right? No, yeah, I'll get the next verse as well. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places, a fire not blown shall consume him, right? So the fire not blown, when you look at fire basically needs that oxygen, it needs that wind to carry it along. But these nuclear missiles, that fire carries it on its own energy, right? When you have forest fires, what's one of the things they care about? The wind direction changed suddenly, and now this part's burning. But now, what you call it, the nuclear fire, that's indiscriminate. That just destroys, right? It doesn't need wind to blow it in this direction and that direction, right? So it shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle, right? So, yeah, that's all I got. So, Lord's will, that was edifying. Until the next time I say, Shalom.